Hey guys, Mustang here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at STR Kid BUU versus the JANEMBA event. Now, this event, he should be poised to be pretty good. Obviously, he has type advantage, however, that does mean that when he hits JANEMBA, he does give him a bit of a buff, but we're starting off with the rotation where we are linked up with the Tech Buhan. So we have Big Bad Bosses active straight away, which means we're starting out the turn at 510k defense. Now remember, before Kid BUU gets hit 6 times, he has 70% damage reduction. So he's going to be very good here, even in slot 1 against JANEMBA. JANEMBA does 2.8 million with his super attack, which obviously means this event is very different to a lot of the other events. The fact that it can be so like unforgiving straight out of the gate. You know, JANEMBA can just come in straight away, slot 1, and do this massive damage super attack to you. But Kid BUU, obviously with the 70% damage reduction, he knocks that down to around 840k. So bearing in mind he's got 510k defense and type advantage, he should still be able to tank relatively well in slot 1. And then he does get a pretty big buff from the actual attacks that he does as well. So even if he hits JANEMBA first, obviously JANEMBA gets a 50% attack buff from being hit by an STR character, and then he supers Kid BUU. Kid BUU himself gets so much extra stats, then he should be fine. But let's see, what's he going to take here in slot 1? So yeah, 210k from a super that does 2.8 million damage straight away, like frame 1. And that's the problem with JANEMBA, is for some of these teams, even units that can tank relatively well in slot 1, you know, early on in an event, and then they build up so that they're still tanking well as the event gets harder and harder. Some of those units, obviously, if they're not starting off on such a high threshold, you can come into this event and they get slot 1 supered and they take decent damage. Like, for example, Tech Broly, right? I only have Tech Broly, the LR from the Worldwide Celebration, at 55%. So if you've got a rotation where you've got, like, no extra support or anything active, and he gets supered in slot 1, like, he takes a decent chunk of damage from that. And then, of course, some of these characters that we've seen that released earlier in 2024 and throughout the year that really need to build up, like, say, in Day Vegeta, for example, just can't handle taking a super from JANEMBA in the first turn, right? They really need to start getting some build up and really hit that level a little bit later on. So Kid BUU, obviously very, very good in this spot. I think here we probably just go for trying to let Fat BUU just die, get the revival, because the thing is, this team is very well poised for short events like JANEMBA that are hitting this hard nice and early. Because yeah, I was gonna say, all he needs to do is, I think actually, to be fair, 200k, we probably just needed those to all be normals and it would have been fine. But he just kills Kid BUU, Fat BUU, with a 1 million super. I mean, to be fair, in Fat BUU turn 1, no build up or anything. Obviously, he does have the Glorio support. I thought he would take more than 1 million damage. I guess he does have guard, I guess, but I thought he would take more than that. But either way, that means he dies, gets the revive. We've got the Glorio support active because we had him in slot 3, so we've got that active for 3 turns. Now we have Glorio on this turn, which we didn't have on the first turn for Kid BUU. And of course, then if we do get to the next turn, we can then use the Ghost Usher. Kid BUU starting off at 1.2 million here. So bear in mind, he's going to attack first, right? So JANEMBA, if we bring this up here as well, so 2.8 million damage super attack. He then gets hit by an STR character, so he gets an extra 50% attack. So that puts that up to doing 4.2. Then obviously he gets 10% with each hit that he takes, right? So if BUU's hitting him a couple of times as well, just with these attacks, he's going to be going up to, like, you know, close to 5 million damage on his super here. And if we put in 5 million, Kid BUU still hasn't been hit 6 times, he's been hit 4 times. So we take off the 70%, that drops it down to like 1.5 mil. And Kid BUU, after supering and with the Glorio support, is going to have way over 1.5 mil. So in this scenario here, he will tank JANEMBA's super attack for double-digit damage. Now, obviously, with the team, my Tech BUU Buhan is only at 55%. So, unfortunately, it means if he eats a super here, especially after JANEMBA's been buffed by being hit by Kid BUU, he probably will die. But Glorio ideally would build up enough dodge chance and dodge it. So, I mean, this team is very well poised for crushing this event, right? Kid Buu up to 34 million attack stat here. There's the crit as well for big damage. Don't get the extra hidden potential attack, unfortunately. And then he doesn't super Kid Buu. Very possible that he could just super Buhan here, which would be unfortunate. But we'll jump back in if that is the case. I mean, when it comes to the JANEMBA runs, I always like to do videos where we just do like a couple of back-to-back runs if necessary. Because with the longer events, it's a lot easier to kind of catch back up to where you died and jump back in. But JANEMBA is one of those events that I don't put a huge amount of stock into using his event to like rate units and stuff, because it can be very short depending on the power of like the rest of the team. Like with how ridiculously good the Majin Buu Saga team is now, you know, you could easily come into this event and like kill JANEMBA in 2 or 3 turns. And so when it comes to evaluating one single unit's performance or trying to showcase them in this event, like you might only get them on the rotation like once or twice. Like here, for example, we can go ahead and just use the Ghost Usher for Kid Buu, Fat Buu. So now we can't be attacked. I think Kid Buu did get hit twice, didn't he, in slot 1? So he'll have his active skill in the next turn. I think here, if we just go for, as there are no attacks, I'm not going to go for big orbs for you. And we'll just grab that for you. So in theory, we should not kill JANEMBA here. And then when we go into the next rotation, Kid Buu should have his active skill available. Now, he does lose out on some of his stats and a little bit of the damage reduction, but the active skill is giving him that big multiplicative buff, right? So his defense post-active skill should still be very high enough that he should easily be able to tank a super from JANEMBA in slot 1. Because before JANEMBA receives any buffs or anything, obviously that 2.8 million damage super with 50% damage reduction, it's only 1.4. And we've already seen Kid Buu almost at 1.4 million before his passive was fully built up. So Kid Buu will just work very, very well in slot 1 against JANEMBA. So it'll be interesting to see when we get the difficult content for the anniversary. Obviously, any stages that are starting off with like a physical boss, even if they are hitting up to like 3 million, Kid Buu's still going to be very good in slot 1 defensively against those bosses. And of course, as we've already mentioned, like JANEMBA doesn't have an unarmed super attack, unfortunately, but Kid Buu for the first 3 turns has a guaranteed super attack negation against unarmed super attacks. So obviously any difficult events we get into for the 10th anniversary that have an unarmed super attack boss, Kid Buu's going to shine even more, and even more so obviously if it's in the first phase. So Kid Buu can use his active skill. So start of turn now, he's at 1.2, so he's dropped a little bit because of that loss of his passive because he's been hit 6 times. But if we go ahead and throw out his active skill here, might as well play the animation, it's a pretty short one, but good old Kid Buu. So throw out our active skill here. Obviously the number's going to go up as well, but we won't see once we picked up the orbs for Glorio and he's locked in slot 3, giving that extra support. So we go up to 1.46. So like I say, with JANEMBA's super attack, 50% damage reduction, even type neutral, it's only doing 1.4 to this guy in slot 1. He's got 1.4 million defense. So even with the type advantage on top, like he's just absolutely eating this in slot 1, regardless of what happens here. So we'll go ahead and do this, grab these. It'll be interesting to see what attack stat we hit here, because obviously Kid Buu's going to finish him off here with this first attack. I would like to see, there you go, I was going to say, I'd like to see him tank the super here for double digits as the end of the run. So super in slot 1 was 162. That's interesting. He does have 50% in slot 1, doesn't he? Yeah, because it's 20%, then he gets 30% for the 3 Martian power allies on the team. Is there something I'm missing with the calculation? Because 50% damage reduction of JANEMBA having 2.8 million damage super should be 1.4 million. And Kid Buu had 1.4 million defense. So, oh, does JANEMBA, does he raise attack on super? I actually haven't got the stats up for the stage. Does he raise attack on super? Maybe he does. Let me bring that up here. Might as well get that bit of information here in at the end, because I actually don't remember. But if he does raise attack on super, then I guess that explains it. Where is he? JANEMBA, super JANEMBA. Yeah, it's 2.8 million. Mega colossal damage to the enemy and greatly lowers defense. He doesn't raise attack. I don't know. Someone can explain that. Someone who understands the calcs better than I do. But 50% of 2.8 million is 1.4. And Kid Buu had 1.4 million defense. So I don't know why we took damage. But regardless, he still ate the super and then killed him. So obviously, STR Kid Buu, very, very good against Janemba. The Buu team, very good. Always, anyway, lots of healing. And Glorio, I mean, this team is probably one of the most fun teams. And Glorio is one of the best units in the game. This team build with him and just running like a Buu team, but with him on it. The only downside is that obviously Glorio and Kid Buu aren't on power absorption, so you can't get the Tech Buhan transformation like straight away, which would be really good. I mean, you could get, depending on the starting rotations, have like the Tech Buhan and then either Buu Tanks, Tech Exchange Buu, and then Int Buu. Any combination of them together on the first turn. Use his domain straight away. And then on the next turn, Kid Buu's already going to be buffed. The only thing is I do like having them start together because obviously they're the only two units on the team that start with big bad bosses. And then physical Buu Tanks gets it once he transforms. But there you go. STR Kid Buu absolutely dominating Janemba. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Who do you prefer, Buu or Goku? We will jump into some Goku runs here for the other video for today as well. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.